Hello, and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles. I met Kathy at my youngest cousin's birthday party when she was 18, and I was 21. Back then, we didn't have much of a relationship beyond casual acquaintances. I'd see her from time to time when I visited my cousin. After that, life took us in different directions. I headed to university to complete my graduate degree. Our paths crossed again in 2020. By then, she had finished high school and I had completed college. We exchanged contact information and started talking. To my surprise, I discovered that we lived in the same neighborhood as her parents. She had moved back home after losing her job due to the pandemic. The pandemic brought us closer together. We spent a lot of time together, had deeper conversations, and shared our past relationship stories. She told me about her ex who had dumped her before traveling to Europe. I too opened up about my past heartbreaks and we consoled each other. Our friendship grew, and we visited each other's homes, even meeting each other's families. In August 2020, I decided to take a chance and expressed my feelings for her. She accepted and we started a romantic relationship. However, a few months into the relationship, I became aware that she was still in touch with her ex and I didn't like it. I sat her down and had a serious conversation about her ongoing communication with her ex. I expressed my concerns, telling her that it wasn't healthy for our relationship. I pointed out that I didn't maintain contact with my ex, and I expected the same from her. To my relief, she agreed with me and promised to do better. In December 2020, while attempting to fix an issue with my phone, a message from my girlfriend's ex popped up on the screen. I know it wasn't right, but my curiosity got the better of me, and I couldn't resist the urge to read their chat. What I discovered left me stunned and utterly confused. In that message exchange, my girlfriend had been asking her ex if he still had a place for her in his life. She even went as far as telling him that she was single and waiting to be loved. To the best of my knowledge, she had seemed committed to our relationship, so this revelation hit me like a ton of bricks. I knew I couldn't just sweep this discovery under the rug, so I decided to confront her about the message. To her credit, she didn't try to deny or evade the issue. Instead, she apologized and accepted her mistake. She reassured me that she would make amends and promised to do better. Despite the trust issues that arose from this situation, I loved her. So I forgave her and we continued with the relationship. I wanted her to attend the same school where I was doing my graduate studies so that we could spend more time together. However, her SAT scores were not up to par for the school we had in mind. She took the SAT again and her scores remained too low. In a determined effort to help her, I dedicated countless hours to tutoring her. And eventually, after her third try, she managed to increase her score enough to meet the admission requirements. She eventually got into the same school where I was pursuing my graduate studies, and everything between us seemed to be going well. I provided financial support when she needed it, and I made an effort to visit her whenever I had the opportunity. I graduated with a master's degree and secured a good job, all while supporting her in her academic journey. During her second semester break, her ex came to town and visited her parents. I was there with her when he showed up and she introduced me to him as her boyfriend. This reassured me and put to rest the thought of her returning to her ex. However, she started to change her behavior towards me drastically after this visit. She began ignoring my texts and most of my calls and I couldn't understand why. I politely asked her on multiple occasions if I had done something wrong, but kept telling me that nothing was wrong and to rest my mind. This continued for a long time, even when she returned home for the second semester vacation. One day, she set a trap for me, and we ended up having an argument. The argument also involved her bringing up her boyfriend and how much he was better than me. I shot back, bringing up how it was better that she gets back with him, although I did not mean that. She used this as an opportunity to distance herself from me and shut me out completely. After a while, she came to apologize for her actions, attributing her behavior to the stress and challenges she was facing in school. She said, "I was having a hard time with school, and I took it out on everyone. I am sorry for the way I treated you." I forgave her, but I couldn't fully buy into her explanation, as her abrupt change in behavior had left me feeling confused and hurt. A few days later, I was with her and she excused herself to go to use the toilet. She left her phone on the table, and curiosity got better of me and I checked her phone. I stumbled upon explicit photos and messages she had exchanged with her ex. I came across a video that she shot herself getting intimate with her ex-boyfriend. The timestamp indicated that it was shot during his visit to town. It became clear that she was completely involved with him, which explained her sudden withdrawal from our relationship. From the messages, I also uncovered that her ex was actually getting married to another girl. They even discussed me in their conversations, at times making hurtful comments about me. They discussed how stupid I am and how I blindly loved her. Despite the immense pain and betrayal, I felt I made the difficult choice not to end our relationship because I believe she genuinely regretted her actions and had changed. In an effort to salvage our relationship, I went to great lengths to be the ideal boyfriend, striving to make her happy in every possible way. Even going as far as buying her things without her having to ask. For a time, things seemed to improve, and we enjoyed a few months of relative stability. However, recently, she began to distance herself from me once more. When I asked her about the change in her behavior, she insisted that nothing was wrong. Unable to shake the feeling that something was amiss, I delved into her phone once again, only to discover that she was still in contact with her ex. He had plans to visit and be intimate with her before his wedding, even suggesting a trip to another state for their rendezvous. It's perplexing that my girlfriend doesn't seem to see that her acts is merely using her to satisfy his immediate needs. It's difficult to understand how she could be comfortable sleeping with someone who doesn't consider her worthy of marriage, especially when this person is getting married to another woman. I had kept records of screenshots and video evidence in my eCloud, knowing that nobody would believe me when I shared my story of her infidelity. She presented herself as a church girl, and in the eyes of everyone, she appeared to be a good girl. As I went through their chat, I couldn't believe that this guy had already introduced my girlfriend to his fiancée as his cousin. He had even managed to convince his fiancée to include my girlfriend in the bridal party. It was a level of deception that was hard to fathom, and it left me deeply hurt. I couldn't wrap my head around how the woman I had wanted to marry could engage in such deceit. At this point, I was torn between seeking revenge and simply moving on. One part of me wanted to involve the bride's family and share my evidence with him. However, I worried that it might lead to the cancellation of the wedding, and the innocent fiancé didn't deserve to go through such drama. As for my girlfriend, I no longer wanted her in my life, and I didn't care about her fate. I discussed the situation with a friend one evening over a drink. At first, I hadn't wanted to share the story, but it weighed so heavily on my mind that I couldn't keep it to myself. My friend was even more upset about the situation than I was. He advised me not to break up with my girlfriend just yet and suggested a plan. His idea was to wait until the eve of the wedding to break up with my girl and expose the truth to the fiancé as well. This way, both of them would feel the impact and pain of the deception they had caused me. Now I too was adamant that exposing the deception on the eve of the wedding was the right course of action, emphasizing that allowing the bride to marry someone who didn't deserve her would be a greater injustice. He convinced me that it would make them feel the impact of their actions and deter them from causing further harm. At the bar, I showed my friend all the evidence I had collected of my girlfriend's cheating, and he recorded most of the information. I didn't know what he planned to do with it at the time, thinking we were merely venting our frustration while inebriated. However, I underestimated my friend's commitment to the idea. After the conversation with my friend, I was motivated to take action. I called my girlfriend when I got home. She arrived and I asked to sit down, and I told her that I want to break up with her. She started crying and asked me what was wrong. I told her that I no longer loved her and wanted a break. I kept looking at her and asked her to leave my house as we are done. To my surprise, she did not protest or discuss any further and just gathered her belongings and left. I guess she was happy with our breakup. I couldn't bear the thought of her lingering around me for another month, so I didn't want to wait for an elaborate revenge against her and her ex, as my friend had suggested. On the eve of the wedding, my friend printed copies of all the evidence I had given him. Instead of emailing it or sending it by mail to the bride's house, he went face to face and hand-delivered it to the bride and her father. As you can imagine, this revelation caused the wedding to be cancelled. Many guests and family members who had traveled out of state for the wedding were left in shock. I even got to know that the to-be groom was thrashed by the bride's family members. The wedding, which was meant to be a grand celebration, turned into a catastrophe. My friend even went a step further and sent the explicit photos to embarrass my ex-girlfriend's father. My ex-girlfriend's father was an Orthodox Christian, and once he saw the pictures he lost his mind. He threw his daughter out of the house and cut all ties with her. My friend later narrated me what he saw, and he seemed to take great pleasure in recounting the events to me. I had mixed feelings about the situation, but in the end, it seemed like they received some form of retribution for their actions. I now have a good job, and I moved to a different city. I now don't engage in romantic relationships. I am still hesitant to get into a serious relationship as I do not want to hurt myself again. Till then, I guess I'll stay single. Dear listener, if you have reached this far, please click on the subscribe button. It will be a great help.